Hello and welcome to Arcade Couch, the best place to chill with your friends and get your gaming goodness every Monday at 6 a.m. Australian Eastern Time. I'm Ashley Hobley. Joining me today on the couch, Ciaran Marchant.
It is me, I'm back. And
Yep.
Dylan's not around. That's just, I was expecting welcome back. Like, it's been a couple weeks.
Welcome back. Woo.
Like, maybe, like the red carpet treatment, but no, it's just not.
It's only been a couple of weeks. It doesn't mean like Nick
right?
time.
I know, exactly. I know. It's, you know what? Sure, it's fine. I'm excited to be back. I really missed being able to talk about everything. I guess there's been actually games coming out the last
There have been games.
couple of weeks, so it's nice to be able to get on and catch up.
Yeah, so on today's show, we'll be talking about Mass Effect. It's the game everybody's talking about, and everybody's getting their dating sim profiles in order for. I'll get Ciaran's thoughts on Resident Evil 8. We've got a little bit of other news, so let's jump into that straight away. Big news is coming out of the Australian Classification Review Board. They've overturned their decision to ban Disco Elysium, the final cut, and it will now receive an R18 rating. Posted on the website, the Classification Board stated, a 3-member panel of Classification Review Board members has unanimously determined that the computer game Disco Elysium, the final cut, is classified R18 with the consumer advice of high-impact themes, coarse language, and drug references. The review board went on to state that while drug use used to incentivize rewards can be accommodated at R18 plus, this game does provide disincentives related to drug-taking behavior, to the point where regular drug use leads to negative consequences for the player's progression in the game. So it turns out, if the board actually plays a video game, they find out the right context in which these things...
But the thing is, at the same time, I don't think they have played this video game.
You don't think so?
I don't think so, right? Because, yeah, cool. It's got drug use, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, but there is a quest in this game where you get asked by a kid to go steal drugs from his dad so he can get his drugs back. And I'm like... okay.
Yeah, but you're not taking those drugs, right? You just get the drugs for somebody else.
No, but you can take them if you want to.
But do you get negative effects from taking those drugs?
Well, you do, but isn't...
Exactly.
I don't understand. You know what? I'm glad that... Well, on one point, I think it's good that they've reviewed this. I think Disco Elysium is a fantastic game. It definitely deserves to be available for everybody here in Australia. I think for PC gamers, it never made a difference because for whatever reason, Steam just didn't give a fuck and just had it up anyway to purchase, and you could do whatever you want with it. I
don't know if the classification board's ever come for Steam.
I don't know, which is interesting, because especially considering like a Disco Elysium, like this release is only just coming because it's the final cut and it got added to consoles. It has been on PC for a very long time, so it's almost like, does stuff not need to be rated? Like when it comes to PC, if it's not an Australian store, because Steam is, even though it's really confusing, right? Because Steam has like the whole bullshit with Australian consumer law that it hates and it tries to fight all the time and it loses repeatedly. But at the same time, there seems to be this grey area of other things that just don't apply to it. So there's obviously some kind of ruling about global marketplaces or things that aren't directly attached to being Australian, because Steam has like global release dates. Like even if you're in Australia, like I remember one of my friends was really annoyed because Mass Effect, he didn't get to play Mass Effect till like midnight Saturday morning, because that's when the game unlocked on Steam, because it was the global release for it. So I don't know if there are rules around that, but yeah, Disco, it's a fantastic game, and I'm glad more people get to play it now. It's there's so much grey area around the gaming classifications board in terms of what do they actually do in the review process. Like, it would be really interesting if there was either an inquiry or a kind of further breakdown of the actual process they go through. If somebody is charged with playing the game, or if multiple people have to play the game, or if they just...
Or somebody has to play the game.
Somebody has to play the game in general. Sometimes you get the feeling that they kind of do a quick Google search on it, see what pops up in the first couple links, and if it looks all good, it's A-okay. It's almost like Was it Fallout 3 almost got banned because morphine was in the game, and they had to change morphine to Med-X or whatever it was called in that game.
Which makes more sense. Well, it doesn't make much sense. It just feels more apocalyptic.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's just do many games get overturned though? Like, I can't really remember.
I feel like they do. I can't remember what the last one that got refused classification was. I could probably. Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember what the last game that got banned was. I feel like it was some sort of horror game.
It was either a horror game or something. Like, I don't know. Like, no, it was Crusader Kings.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Crusader Kings got banned, and once again, Xbox got past that because they're like, we're not selling it. It's a subscription.
But did it ever get classified though?
I don't remember hearing it ever getting classified. But once again, Crusader Kings isn't really something that would. I guess the people who care about it would have got it.
No, it did. It got an MA15 rating.
Makes no sense. What are you doing? Like, it's just really, especially with the big changes recently in.
Maybe these games are not giving the classification board enough time to decide.
Possibly, but also at the same time, you would think. I would love to compare the Australian classifications board to the other classification boards around the world and see what the difference is, because either it's just because it's not local news, but I don't hear about this kind of stuff happening anywhere else. Maybe we're just a bit stricter here in Australia. Maybe we are a bit more, confined and closed off in terms of what we're letting people play in this in gaming. But maybe there just needs to be it's as a lot of things in the way Australia looks at gaming in general. It's just very archaic. It needs to be updated across the board, and I get the feeling that the classifications board is one of these things that definitely does need to be updated and kind of brought forward at a wide scale.
Yeah. Just having a quick look. Apparently, We Happy Few was the previous one. Before that had
that had like massive,
classification,
like weird drug use,
all the drug stuff in that.
Yeah. Once again, I remember that not being too much of a bother once again for Microsoft, because Game Pass LOL is like just whatever that loophole is in the kind of the banning scheme is because it's not being sold. It's fine.
And then before that was Saints Row 4, which technically never came out until it was released alongside Get Out of Hell expansion. Interesting. Yeah, so congrats, Disco Elysium. Hopefully pick that up on PlayStation. Because I forgot about this. There's an exclusivity thing on PlayStation first.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if you didn't get it on Steam, you can get it on PlayStation at some point in the near future. So, the more people who get to check out that game, the better. It'll be good to play it on a big screen TV as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Except with full voice cast and reading the tiny text.
Yeah, exactly. With that, be able to relax and listen to, and it's really good voice acting. Like, especially, I think I was reading something just like shortly after the release that the voice actor that does like a lot of all the narration, and there is a lot of narration. That's like his first voice acting gig, which is kind of insane. Just because of the sheer kind of depth of the role he plays in it. It's really good, and people should definitely jump in and give it a go. Cool.
So a few months back, we had... Well, this year they've got the big 25th anniversary of Pokemon thing going on. They've teased like a bunch of musical collaborations. So we had the Post Malone concert, and his cover of Hootie and the Blowfish's... what the song was.
The one from the movie.
Only Want to Be With You. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So, now we've got our second entry in this musical Pokemon collaboration. Katy Perry has released a music video on her single, Electric. Have you watched this or listened to this, Ciaran?
I have not. I knew there was... Because I didn't realize this had been released yet. Because I knew there was an album coming
There is an album coming.
But I have not looked at this yet. Is it as terrible as it sounds?
Listen. I'm going to do a dramatic reading of the lyrics of Electric.
Okay.
And then I'll tell you what happens in the music video.
Okay.
Right? Okay, ready? In the dark, when you feel lost, want to be the best, but at what cost? If you're going to stay here, nothing's ever changing. Big world's got to see it all. Got to get up even when you fall. There's no point in waiting. They'll try to bring you down, but you got the power now. I know you feel it. If you believe it, then you can. There's no reason that this life can't be electric. Oh, I can see it. See it. If you believe it, then you can. There's no reason that this life can't be electric. I feel like that's enough for people to get a general idea.
Yeah, look, it's not lyrical.
It is
at all. It
is. It's very, very Katy Perry.
It's very Katy Perry, but at the same time, it's like
raw, and then you come up with everything that could possibly relate to raw.
Yeah, and it's very kind of like, it's not inspired. Or it's almost like they've read the lyrics of every other Pokemon-related song ever, and they've just kind of got a thesaurus up and been like, they've just been like, man, let's do something similar.
But listen, then you've got the music video, which is her and Pikachu chilling out near a lighthouse for some reason. Then they both close their eyes. They teleport back in time to a young Katy Perry and a young Pichu. Playing her guitar, like busking in the middle of a courtyard. She's about to give up her dreams, but then a Pichu gives her a cute nod. She's like, "Yeah, I'm going to keep playing music."
That's what you need in life, is a Pichu to give you a cute nod.
No other Pokemon, just Pichu and Pikachu. That's the only Pokemon in this music video clip. Then she goes to a thrift shop. Katy Perry's hiding in the background, and she pulls this sign out saying there's going to be a talent contest coming up. So young Katy Perry goes to the talent contest, sings the song that she's singing.
Oh God! Look, wait. Can we?
It's a full.
Do we need
Back to the Future
look,
like time travel?
I was gonna say, do we need to break down what are the time travel rules of this music video? Like, Katy Perry getting involved in her own her own younger life, and
yep,
that's I swear.
And then she goes and sings the song on stage, and it's like, I assume some record some record guys in the corner comes up and signs her up.
Sign her up.
That's not part of the music video, but I assume that's the canon.
No, that's the canon. And then they're like, you know what, this song about Pikachu? Screw it. Talking about kissing a girl and you liked it? Let's do that. It's, man, that's Hollywood for you. That's,
definitely.
Nice.
So listen, what I'm saying is these are great content for us here at the Explosion Network, this ongoing saga of Pokemon and music videos.
Man.
It's something.
Somebody at a Pokemon marketing department just had a budget and they didn't know what to do with it. And they were just like, let's
just throw money at all these famous people. But that's a thing. So look forward to more upcoming editions of Pokemon music on other episodes of Arcade Couch. So there were a bunch of financial meetings over this week. Two I wanted to highlight. Sega had their financial meeting, and apparently they finally realized that they could actually be making money off a bunch of these IPs that they've currently got. IGN spotted a presentation slide as part of their presentation in which Sega got to talk about utilizing their globally recognized IP in the months and years to come, and listed a whole bunch of dormant series that would benefit from either a remaster, remake, or reboot. On that list is pretty much everything a long-suffering Sega fan could ask for: Jet Set, Crazy Taxi, Panzer Dragoon, Shinobi, Virtua Fighter, even Altered Beast and Knights made the cut. Axe Kid is presumably missing because it was getting a game later this year. Other games on this list are Space Channel 5, Rez, House of the Dead, Streets of Rage, and Soul Hackers. Streets of Rage is weird because it was...
I was going to say, Streets of Rage 4 just came out to be quite critically acclaimed and loved by most. Yeah.
Of course, this is all speculation, but even word that Sega is thinking of this stuff will be fun for fans. Is there anything on that list that you would like to see remastered, remade, or rebooted?
Crazy Taxi's just kind of goated in my eyes. I've spent a lot of time just it's a staple of going on holiday as a kid and going to an arcade and there just being Crazy Taxi to play, man. Crazy Taxi, and that's probably just showing my age because I'm way younger than Sega. Really, in general, Sega was kind of past its prime by the time I was playing video games. So it's not really the kind of, I'm not the demographic or market for it to be hitting. I've always wanted to look at Knights. It's just, yeah, it's just, I think it is a trend currently where people are like, man, let's just start remastering stuff, which we'll talk about one semi-big remaster like later in the show, but
yeah,
it is kind of the, man, let's just go back to the well a little bit and just remake something or remaster something and bring it forward, and which, in some ways is really good, some ways it's kind of meh. It's just. I think if they bring the smart thing to do, and they've already done this in the past with other like collections of it, is just bring out some kind of Sega collection again, of just like a whole bunch of these games, because I don't think many of these games are fantastic to be brought out, loved. Like very loved enough to be brought out by itself. But I think if you were to bring out like a Sega collection, you would do pretty well. Like you would do well enough. People would probably pick it up just to have a bit of nostalgia and play through some games that they probably haven't touched in a decade or two.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like some of these, like Jet Set and Crazy Taxi, you could come up with some sort of unique way to bring them into a modern setting. But a lot of these games, I feel like, have only for the most nostalgic, I think, of Sega fans. But yeah. And, sorry, I just had the most random thought for us.
Right.
For a Crazy Taxi game. Crazy Taxi, I guess AR, or like Pokemon Go. You have to run between two...
That sounds like a terrible idea.
I know it sounds like a terrible idea, but...
You know what? If you
don't care.
No. I will do this if the marketing video and the tester for it is like, I want to watch you run in public, like running around and picking people up. And
like the promo video is me running around with like a taxi costume.
Yes, like a cardboard box taxi. Yes, absolutely.
I mean, you wouldn't actually pick up real people. It'd be like digital people, because that would be too weird. Or maybe it's like an add-on to Uber. Try to incentivize the Uber drivers to get around quicker.
Oh, fucking hell. As if there isn't enough problems with Uber and stuff like that already. Let's play Crazy Taxi in an Uber, boys. Oh, fucking hell.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like there's enough there for them to, like, I'm sure somebody has good ideas for some of these, like, that they could, like, revitalize some of those franchises and bring something new to them, so. Yeah, look forward to that, Sega fans, I guess, if there's any of you left.
If you're there, if you haven't given up completely.
I mean, yeah, nothing's going to top the ones that are on the Active IP list. Phantasy Star, Sonic, Total War Football Manager, Persona, Megami Tensei, Yakuza. Yeah, nothing's going to touch that.
I feel like the stuff that's
working, they're fine with to keep working.
Yeah, the stuff that's working or would be worth saving has already been saved a lot of the time, so it's already being continued. There's a reason this stuff hasn't been touched in 2 decades.
Yeah, absolutely. Then Ubisoft also had a financial meeting. It's that time of year, doing a bunch of fiscal reports. Word is Ubisoft is set to prioritize free-to-play development, although it's not abandoning its big-budget launches. Leadership says the company is prioritizing persistent free-to-play adaptations of the video game franchises and licenses the company develops, even as its subsidiaries build standalone releases to blockbuster expectations in the February, fall, or holiday release windows. Yeah. So, of course, I think it was a couple of weeks ago we heard that they were set to release Tom Clancy's The Division Heartland, which was going to be a free-to-play chapter of the looter shooter franchise Ubisoft launched in 2016. But we could potentially be seeing other franchises from the Ubisoft lineup, like get free-to-play model stuff. Are you keen for more free-to-play spin-offs of Ubisoft stuff?
No. Because games that Ubisoft recently brought out, in themselves feel so fucking close to free-to-play games. Just in terms of, not in, quality, like I'm comparing, say, the last two I personally played have to be Assassin's Creed and Immortal Phoenix Rising. And those two games, fantastic quality, but at the same time, there's this kind of free-to-play aspect to these games that I'm not a fan of, whether it's,
the microtransactions is actually microtransaction heavy elements.
Microtransaction heavy stuff, or there being like daily quests or like daily loots available, or things on a timer in the background for you to look at, like that'll like roll over in like so much time. Like it's just a feeling of this stuff coming in. Like this makes me super fucking worried for Beyond Good and Evil 2. Like that, just hearing that just makes me super kind of, man, what are they going to do to that game? Like I guess I understand companies needing to restructure and to change within a global climate that is very different post-pandemic. But I wouldn't say Ubisoft's in such a bad position where they need to kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater and go completely different and try and go out there. I guess, Ubisoft games, we all know the Ubisoft make and model, like the general make of a Ubisoft game, which is, here is a sprawling map with lots of little icons for you to go and look at and do things on. And man, it would suck if like that was like a free-to-play game where there was like, some of those are locked, or
they keep refreshing.
They keep refreshing. Oh my god, that's
never
a nightmare.
That's a fucking nightmare. It's never empty.
Every time you like you go back to it the next day and the map is just full again after you cleared off most of it the day before. Oh, that's actually horrifying. That's like my worst nightmare. Man, that's one way for me to get me to stop playing a game and to burn the fuck out of it, is just to have it be never. Ugh.
But it'd be like real Assassin's Creed. Like, you need to keep assassinating people.
Just keep the
There's
global
always
population.
people for you to kill.
The population is growing. You need to make sure it's cold. Like it's. It's it'll be interesting. I would hate for there to be a knock in narrative quality, for these games. Like, what is actually like the perfect title for this, especially with how they went with it in its last installment. Watch Dogs would actually be fine as a free-to-play game, in my opinion. With how it was, how the last game was, it is very... Yeah, I would say that beats the free-to-play model. You could have people, you could have agents to buy. You could have like kind of special daily agents that people can play as. Yeah, that would fit that. I would just hope that they're not like, man, we're going to slap this free-to-play model on everything we do from now on, and kind of negate some of the narrative spice that is in Ubisoft. Because I think, as a company, Ubisoft actually do some kind of cool narratives in games. Like they do decent stories that have been like ongoing. Like, even though Assassin's Creed is convoluted as fuck and all over the shop in terms, it's still a really interesting attempt at this kind of historic narrative that they take liberties with in kind of historical accuracy and stuff, but I think it is still very fun to watch and to play around with that. And even if I don't finish the Assassin's Creed games, I actually take enjoyment prior to the next one to quickly go and read through the previous story and be like, what the fuck happened here? I get in, some of the stuff, like I know Assassin's Creed Odyssey had a number of things that pissed me off, but I still like that overall. So I hope free-to-play doesn't become the new norm for Ubisoft in general.
No, I definitely think they'll still stick to their several couple of AAA or their main narrative-heavy games.
Could you see Just Dance going free?
I think anybody who loves Just Dance would love Just Dance to be free to play, and just buy tracks.
Like, just either buy tracks.
I can't imagine there is any reason to buy Just Dance every year except for the music.
Except for the music, right?
There's not like a gameplay mechanic that changes every year.
It's like they kind of tried to do this towards the end of the rhythm game life cycle, where your rock bands and stuff like that would just have tracks you could buy towards the end. I felt like
SingStar, like it was.
Yeah, SingStar did exactly that, right? SingStar was
live forever.
Yeah, like didn't the last SingStar you just use your phone as the microphone?
Yeah, pretty much.
And you just literally you bought the licenses for the game, the songs, the music, pretty much, which I think is look, you know what, music licensing is just a bitch in general.
That's true. That could be the one thing that's holding it back.
But at the same time, it would be cool to have like a free-to-play Just Dance game that had like a rotating playlist for, like, say each week, like there's a different track playlist or something comes up.
It's like a battle pass.
Yeah, it's you know what? Yeah, you could have a dance battle pass. How popping and dance locking pass. And breaking all over the place.
Yeah, you change the type of dances every all the different challenges and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, you could dress yourself up. You have your avatar look like
different costumes.
You want it to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
That makes sense. But yeah, I think obviously we're still going to get an Assassin's Creed that's like a full-on Assassin's Creed. We're going to get a full-on Far Cry. But yeah, obviously they've been dipping their toes in like the freedom of play model. Obviously they've got they had Hyperscape, which I assume is some level of successful. Seeing as it's still going. So
yeah, which is surprising because
I feel like
that game,
a year is like
a year's almost impressive. Like at the minute lately, it's been like 6 months.
A game dies after I think like 3 months if a game
3 months. But I'm talking like 6 months for you to see that news post where they're like companies giving up development,
servers
and
are shut.
Servers are being shut down, so there's only limited servers. Or you could get the what the fuck was that game called that I had to play and I never got a match for? Battleborn. You go the Battleborn route, which is like, that game's still live, guys, but nobody's playing it. Please play it. Okay, now it's dead.
Yeah, obviously they do a bunch of other stuff as well. Ubisoft, they've got a bunch, kind of like mobile games, and they've also got a bunch of smaller stuff. Like they got that Roller Champions, whatever, that's meant to come at some point.
That's still meant to come, because I remember I got super close like that. I don't know why they got super in my brain. Got super close to the Destruction All Stars one that came out recently, because they're kind of very similar concepts. It's just one's in cards and one's on rollerblades. Yeah. It's they're. I feel like Ubisoft's very much of that strategy of throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks, and being okay of having like 9 games go bad if one game goes really well.
Well, you've got to remember, also currently in the works, Rainbow Six Quarantine, which is the...
they're going mental. The
right?
wave zombie shooter. Yeah, they're going mental with being like, let's make a bunch of Rainbow Six games that are related to Siege and stuff and involve that.
And then they've got Riders Republic. It's going to be 22, 23.
Right.
That's the downhill motorbike, BMX bike, snowboarding game.
You just made me think of Downhill Jam. That game was great.
And of course, the most important news out of this financial report, our favorite Ubisoft game, Skull and Bones, pushed to 2023, 2022, 2023.
That game, just kill that game already. Just Dylan's not here to try and fucking.
No, he's turned on it. Remember, we're the ones who are pro.
Well, true.
Yeah,
but like, Skull and Bones. That was
which one do you think is going to come out first, Skull and Bones or Beyond Good and Evil 2?
Skull and Bones never comes out. Beyond Good and Evil comes out. Dude. Skull and Bones was started development because of the fantastic reception of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Since then, we have had something like maybe, I want to say almost 5 Assassin's Creed games since then.
At least, yeah.
And that's with Assassin's Creed switching to a model of having like 2-year breaks between their games.
Well, we've had the 3 next-gen ones. Then you had Unity and
Syndicate. Yeah,
Syndicate,
so 5 Assassin's Creed games since Black Flag. And there's already been Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves has already come out, and you kind of think, well, there's the fucking pirate game. Why are you still making Skull and Bones? It's getting permanently delayed, so it started as pure naval combat, and then it kind of, somebody tried to, there was rumors of it kind of pivoting to involve actual pirating and stuff like that in it.
Yes.
It just doesn't, it seems like they have, pun intended, missed the boat on that game. Like, full on just missed it.
Give me it.
They are stood at the end of the dock waiting for that shit to come. And it's just not going to happen. It's just not. I don't see... Like, Beyond Good and Evil, for better or worse, will come out. Even if it is kind of a hot smoking pile of overdeveloped garbage, that game will eventually come out.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I'm holding out hope,
Holding out hope for
just so
Skull
I can laugh
Bones.
about it. It was revealed E3 2017. So
Man. Yeah, that's...
it was only last year that they decided they got a new vision, so the wait could still be a while, unfortunately.
So, oh god, it's not even like... I understand when, like, you know, your Kingdom Hearts 3s or your Last Guardians have this ridiculous freaking development timeline where a developer is sticking with it just because they have... Either the developer themselves has some really good goodwill with fans and people are going to wait for it no matter what, or people love the series. Skull and Bones is a fucking brand new IP that nobody has played before, other than playing Black Flag. It's insane. You know what? Good on Ubisoft for sticking with it, because I would have sunk that shit like 2 years ago.
My guess is it's being developed by Ubisoft Singapore. They're getting some really good tax breaks.
Would make sense. Would you know? It's just, man, I couldn't like keeping that IP afloat is fucking must be stressful, because what is really fun about though
they
is
must see something in it. Otherwise, you know, I don't know how many games like Ubisoft has pulled the plug on. Cancelled.
I feel like a lot though. I feel like there's got to be. The thing is, right, this is the same company that had Ghost Recon Wildlands come out and have a Ghost Recon and have a sequel for that game come out, which even though they definitely had a player base, I don't think that had a good player base or was solid whatsoever. And as I just said, throwing shit against the wall and hoping what sinks, just, you know, this pile of shit that they've got, which is called Skull and Bones, is just really old. Like, really old. In terms of, like, waiting for the payoff for it. It just seems kind of insane to me, honestly.
Let's see, the last ones they cancelled, there was a Brother in Arms 4 that was cancelled after being unveiled at E3 2011. And then there was a Rainbow Six Patriots game that was cancelled after being announced on the cover of Game Informer. So,
man,
several years. I feel like...
Yeah. I just feel like, they are very committed. You know what? It's the only thing that's like a positive that comes out of Skull and Bones is the eternal ship-related puns that I get to use while talking about it, because they're always good. Fantastic. But look, we will see if Skull and Bones is ever full mast. I highly doubt it. I think it's I think they've scuppered that ship, but it'll be a fun ride, and I think the day that we have a podcast article about, like, an article on the show about it being cancelled, the three of us need to get very drunk while reading that article, because
we need to pour one out.
We need to pour one out for Skull and Bones.
We need to prepare some she shanties.
Yeah. Yep. No, we need to go full on.
Drop anchor.
Or if it ever comes out, we also need to have like a full in cosplay like stream of just us playing it, because that game deserves it for all the shit we've given it.
Absolutely. Ciaran, you've been playing Resident Evil Village, the game with the lady vampires.
Well, you know, it's just from playing that game, Ubisoft, not Ubisoft, fucking Capcom are marketing geniuses, for heavily marketing around Lady Demiscu, because she is not in the game actually that much. Like, she's only like a small portion of the game, as a lot of people have said, but she is like all of the marketing for that game.
I mean, they struck gold straight away. Realized the internet was...
They were like, man, okay, we're going all in on this one character. That's fine. We'll do all the demos we'll be releasing will be all about her, pretty much. Everything will be, just focused on this. But Village was really good. Village was great. I echo a lot of the thoughts. I listened through to after finishing it the other night, I listened to the well-played spoiler cast about it.
That your own Dylan Blight was on.
Yeah, that Dill was on, and kind of, I agreed with a lot of the thoughts the boys had on that podcast. I think it very much goes full Resident Evil 4 in terms of action game. Like, it has the great, like, it has the same kind of it tries to have the same pacing as Resident Evil 7 did, where it's like the first portion of the game is more horror and more scary, and the further you go in the game, the more weapons and things you got that made the game less scary and more of an action game. Does a really good job shaking up the gameplay and mechanics that are used throughout it, with the different areas requiring kind of different styles of play. Overall, I really like the story. The story's great. I feel like towards the end, though, it's almost like somebody's been like, hey, this story needs to fit in like an 8 to 10 hour game. And then all of a sudden, the story somebody goes, fuck, we've got like 2 hours left of gameplay to fill up before shit, let's go. And they kind of, the end kind of feels very rushed in many places. There's like kind of one point where it, hits the NOS Fast and Furious style and just goes like 1 billion miles an hour at the end. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? But I think they're doing really well. They're doing a great job at building a universe and kind of crafting Resident Evil into something a bit bigger beyond just the outstanding characters. I think Chris Redfield's great in this game, and I love what they've done with him in the marketing compared to what he's actually in the game. I think it's fantastic. No, I think if people like I think it's definitely, once again, it'll be in talks for Game of the Year. I don't think it'll ever have a chance of being Game of the Year. But it'll definitely have its place in the nominees, and I think it's a very good game. It deserves, I think I've seen mainly 8s and 9s for that game, which I kind of 100% agree with. The only thing that fucked me is literally and I think it maybe only be a me issue, maybe I'm just terrible with my ammo management and stuff, but man, I finished the final boss with my knife. I had nothing else, and I had to finish the final boss with my knife.
I mean, that's kind of impressive.
It was, and you know what? The game totally knew that there was totally it was almost like a quick time section or a mash the R2, which is the attack button to do something section. And the game was definitely intending for you to have a gun at that moment. And there's just me with my knife mashing R2, swinging it in front of me. No chance hitting what I'm supposed to be hitting. But, it's succeeding in the cinematic afterwards. And I was like, sure, because you thought I'd have ammo at this point. I didn't. There's me, calculating the last boss, being like, right, I go into this with, this much ammo. It randomly drops ammo every now and then, but I don't know how much ammo I'm going to get during the fight. I've got a couple mines on me. I'm going to put mines down, and yeah, it was calculated in the end. But no, it is a fantastic game, and I think it does characters really well. I think it captures Resident Evil 4 fantastically. I think it's going to just, and I'm glad they intended that, because this game is just going to forever get Resident Evil 4 comparisons, being it is very much that same feel of just kind of that action style and a bit over the top in places. It's fantastic, and I'm looking forward to there's definitely future installments. I hope the game sells better than Resident Evil 7 did, and then we get Resident Evil 9 would be fantastic when we're Resident Evil 9 cruise shit. No, we already had a cruise ship in 7. I don't know, fucking Resident Evil 9 desert or some shit.
Where haven't they been? Space.
They've been everywhere, especially Resident Evil 6. I think Resident Evil 6, they kind of just went insane. But nobody talks about Resident Evil 6 anymore, so probably doesn't matter.
Yeah, probably doesn't. So let's just having a quick look. Resident Evil Village shipped more than 3 million copies in the first 4 days of release, becoming the third fastest selling Resident Evil title in the Resident Evil series, tied with Resident Evil 2 in 2019, so...
That's good. I think Resident Evil has a great thing. I think maybe IGN put up the graphic today of showing the runtime for Resident Evil games, and they always hit this kind of 8. The average is 8 to 10 hours for a campaign. I think it's perfect. I think it's the great kind of. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It has plenty of jump scares. It has all the horror in it. It even dips into there's sections where it dips into that. More Outlast style of gameplay where you don't have weapons and you just have to run and hide for shit. So I think Resident Evil does this great job of taking bits from other horror games and how horror is developed as a genre and applying it into the Resident Evil instead of just have Resident Evil always being the straight up survival game that it was. So no, I think it's absolutely a fantastic game, and if people are into that kind of style of game, and even if you're not, because I didn't used to like these games, definitely give it a try, because I think they're getting better and better as they go on.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been interesting to see experience the game through social media of just hands.
Man, why is it always the fucking hands? It's always his hands. Fuck, like, bad things happen to his hands. And you know what? Literally, I think I tweeted, why is it always the hands? In the first maybe hour of the hour of gameplay. And holy shit, does that theme and me saying, why is it always the hands out loud in my lounge room, just carried on for the entire 8 to 10 hours I played that game. Because, my god, they just obliterate that poor man.
All right, let's jump into what everybody's been playing and wants to hear, probably tuned in to hear us talk about. Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Of course, BioWare remastering, remaking, I don't know what, something. Their famed trilogy.
Yeah.
The trilogy that they built a lot of their goodwill on, that they squandered. Ciaran, this is my first proper playthrough of Mass Effect.
Oh, it's so cool. You know what? Actually, before we dive into this, I've got to say, right, there is, because I've been. It's been the nice thing. There's something about having a game series or a TV show or something that you really love, but a collection of people haven't really dove into before, and just experiencing and watching them all do it. And I feel like I'm kind of getting that now, but at the same time, I feel like I'm getting fucking robbed, because the amount of either streamers or people tweeting or stuff that I've seen that are all like, man, jumping into Mass Effect 1, I've already played Mass Effect 3 though, and I'm like, fucking hell, I hate this.
Why would you do that?
I'm like, why have people done this? I get it, there was a whole fucking Microsoft and PlayStation and PC kind of stuff happening with Mass Effect when it was coming out. But people being like, man, I've played Mass Effect 3. I'm like, dude, you've just fucking...
Why'd you do that to yourself?
Why do you do that? It's clearly a 3. And if somebody's been like, nah, you don't need to play the other 2, they're fucking wrong.
Fucked up.
They're fucked up. But no, I was excited for this to come out. I was excited to jump into this. And I guess this was the motivation for me to finish, making sure I finished off Resident Evil, so I could have time to sit down and play these games. Man, I have not played Mass Effect 1. I was trying to work out, maybe, I think 2012-ish was maybe the last time I played Mass Effect 1. And I was startled by how good my memory is for this game. There are one of the side quests in when you first get to the Citadel is to find these 20 keepers scattered around the Citadel. I remembered where all 20 were off the top of my head and did it in one run. And I remember, and I think I know why, because I remember when I originally played the Mass Effect, I couldn't find the last one, and I had PTSD from it. That I was just endlessly running around the Citadel trying to find the last fucking one, and it was in a really annoying spot. So it was really nice. There's very much playing this game is a very warm and fuzzy feeling for me of nostalgia, and that only comes from character interactions in the story, because playing this game, it's still man, I was hoping they'd kind of done a bit of tweaking with the combat a little bit, or some of because it's still the 2007 game under the hood. It's very much still, and that kind of worries me and scares me for people who are being introduced to the game for the first time today, because it definitely feels dated. Because I've actually been trying to, I think I'm going to attempt to get all 3 platinums. I'm very far into getting the platinum for this one, for Mass Effect 1. But at the same time, driving the Mako has made me insane. Just literally driving the Mako, like, because I was literally doing all the side quests. Like, I think my run timer for this is like 16 hours at the moment for Mass Effect 1. And that was before me doing even like main story missions. Once you get like the open universe, I was like just doing everything, landing on places. But my god, the side quest like areas, planets are so fucking frustrating to drive around because they're like, you know, it'd be really cool. These like mountainous regions that don't have a way up the mountain, and you just have to kind of like brute force your way up the side of it with the Mako. Like Skyrim horse style, putting yourself on an angle and like boosting your way up. And like literally today I was doing, like this morning I was playing through a section when I was still committing to doing as much of the side content as I could, where I literally was like, no, I'm done with doing this. I just want to play the story now. I'll still get all the other trophies of like doing all the abilities and stuff like that. Like I'll still get all of that stuff. I'm just gonna chill for this stuff because I actually don't think for the trophy list you don't actually need much of the side content. It's more of just the fact of making sure you give yourself time with characters to get their 5 missions for each character, and you have to like there's a whole bunch of the abilities that you have to use 25 times each, and that only counts if you're doing it though. Kind of, you're not letting your squad automatically do it. You're manually putting in the abilities to make it count. So that's look, it's all. I actually think they're all really doable trophy lists in terms of Mass Effect in general. But I'm still loving it. There's still Mass Effect is still. Mass Effect is like.
So I love this trophy. It's completionist, but the description is Mass Effect 1 complete the majority of the game.
Yeah, majority of the game, because it's like we don't expect you to do everything because everything's fucking insane. But so the good side of this and the shit that gets me, the one point that's always bad about Mass Effect 1 is me playing Mass Effect 1, loving Mass Effect 1, but just being excited for Mass Effect 2 while I'm playing it, because Mass Effect 2, they just perfected everything they were trying to do with Mass Effect 1 about 100 times better. So it's like, man, I love what they do in this game, but just the next game's better. So it's a bit good. It's a bittersweet play at the moment because, man, BioWare was so fucking cool around this time. Like, BioWare could almost do no wrong at this point. They have Mass Effect, Dragon Age Origins comes out around the same time. It is, it's real fucking sad what BioWare's become now. But I wanna hear how you're going with it, because Mass Effect 1 is notoriously a bit of a slog.
Yeah. It is a little bit. I will say I've tried to play it a couple of times. I think I tried to play it. My brother had it on Xbox. Didn't get past. I don't think I've tried to play like the first section several times. I checked. I own it on Steam. Never got around to playing it. It was probably during one of those sales. But yeah, never got in, never played it, and then didn't play 2 or 3 because I'm a sensible person. You don't play the 2 or 3.
You don't play games out of order, especially when the main selling point of a series.
I mean, except unless it's like Resident Evil.
Resident Evil, but when the main selling point of a series is that your decisions
you can
and
carry your character over,
are carried on, then it's like I get Mass Effect 2 was okay because before you started Mass Effect 2, you could do like a checklist of like, and that was because it was like changing console generation, and stuff like that. But but do go on.
But yes, the combat is rough, especially at the start.
The AI is so bad. The AI is so bad.
Just even the shooting in general, I don't think it's very. It's like not very dated compared to, of course, the shooter I play the most is Apex. So it's like going from that to this. It's like, ugh, it's rough. The other thing I did not appreciate was the character creation. It's like,
character creation makes no sense.
Choose your class.
I was actually sorry. So no shit. I was in. I can't remember who it was. I was in a very small streamer's Twitch chat yesterday that I know of, and they were starting the game for the first game, and I was like, and I'm very much normally a lurker on Twitch. I don't chat very often because I'm like, I'd rather just chill out and hang out. Yeah. But I was like, no. I need to jump into this person's chat before they just pick the default character and be like, hey, even though it says default characters is in John Shepard and Jane Shepard. Don't pick that. Choose the custom one, even if you don't think you're going to change their appearance. Otherwise, you don't get to change your class at all, and it just defaults you to default everything instead of being
or something. Yeah.
Defaults you to being a soldier, and like the sole survivor is like your background for it. It's like no. Pick your class.
That's fine. They don't really explain anything about the classes.
Yeah,
so you've got these two special areas: the biotics and tech.
Yep.
You've got no context for any of that going in. And this is a choice that's going to affect you for 3 games.
Well, no. It won't affect you for 3 games.
That's what I want to believe going in. So now I'm really angry.
It won't affect you going for 3 games because you get to change your character's class and stuff. Because the classes change throughout the games as well.
Oh, okay.
Because they fixed Mass Effect 2, they fixed the classes. Mass Effect 1's class system's not good. Well, as I said, Mass Effect 2 fixes so much shit, but you have to play Mass Effect 1 for the story and for the characters because it just makes the experience better. But yeah, it doesn't explain characters very well. Doesn't explain what you're actually getting. And I fucking hate I don't hate it actually now, but I hate it with a passion. Mass Effect 1 used to give you penalties on all the guns that you weren't proficient in.
Yeah, I've read
They've removed that from this one.
Yeah.
They removed that.
Yeah, so I did a quick look of like a couple of different things that have changed. Obviously the gun thing. So now you can use any weapon, but you'll get bonuses for using the ones you're actually good at. They've also changed a lot of the hub, so it's easier to tell different things. They've made like tactical changes so you can tell people where to go and that kind of stuff. Like Mass Effect 2, I believe.
Yes.
They did improve the marker.
Apparently, but still I'm like losing my mind. So
I don't know. It's still it's
still real bad.
It doesn't have the best turning circle, but I guess it's like a vehicle like that, you can't expect much.
It is very
what else was? Yeah, I think
they also changed the. So this is
the
I'm
level
a big
cap
fan
as
of this
well,
change. Leveling change. The leveling is so fucking cool now. 30. So there's 30 levels instead of 60, and you average about getting 4 skill points every level in the new format instead of 1 previously. And it feels really like it actually feels like you fill out your character a lot quicker now in terms of like being able to spec tree into stuff.
I know. I mean, I feel like I've done like 2 or 3 story missions. Like, man, is this game almost over? I'm like level 16 or something.
Yeah, no, it's like that, and I think I don't feel like they've quite got the leveling right, quite balanced because like I'm at the point in the game because I did all the side quests early. I feel like I am so far ahead of everything, even though I think the game is supposed to balance itself at, like no matter what. Like there's no set levels. I've like just got like I'm at the point where I actually don't care about loot anymore because everything I've got is great, and I'm just mowing through everything. Like I'm literally just like not worrying about stuff anymore because I'm like, and I keep getting messages being like, "Hey, you've got 250 items out of 300 in your inventory. You better sort through that shit." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, sure,
it's all giant.
Whatever."
I will say I'm not a fan of like the menus and stuff. I think they could have improved that kind of stuff. Like, and why are you playing on Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation. I bought it on PlayStation because I've played all 3 already on Xbox. So I was like, I'll play it on.
Oh, you're going for platinum. What are we talking about?
Yes, I'm going for platinum. Yeah.
Why did they choose to use the touchpad to just
that got me so bad. That got me so bad so often at the
Why
start.
isn't it a map button?
Well, it's a map button on one side or a ready to action button where you pull your guns out and stuff. You're ready for fighting, and it's like, what? Why? Why is this way?
Wait, also, one side is a map.
Yeah, one side is a map, and the other side, if you press it, it like readies up your character and like,
that's
pulls
good to
your guns out and stuff out. There's a lot of stuff this game actually really doesn't explain very well, and it's just because they should have. I feel like my biggest criticism about this game within this Legendary Edition, it looks pretty. Yes, you've made it actually look. Other than some of the character models are still, it looks a lot better. Like it looks like I really like some of the environments of this.
Yeah, the environments look really good.
Environments look great.
Verum nets or something. I don't know.
Yep, Verum with like that. Yep.
Yes,
yep,
with the like the water and everything.
Water
it
and
looks
stuff
really pretty.
looks really cool. Enemy designs look cool. Like the armors and stuff look cool. Awesome. But I feel like they could have just done more little stuff, right? Like put in a better tutorial system for this game that explains shit. Because I don't think it ever explains the Mako properly to anybody. So people probably don't know that if you hold
No, you just
L1,
rock up, you just land somewhere, and it's there.
it's there. It's like,
That's
here
it.
you go. And then, so people don't
It's
know
like,
that
what?
if you press L1 on the Mako, you get a boost. Or if you press X, you can like fly a little bit and hover a little bit and like use your thrusters to go places. It's like, it is so frustrating. You know what? The amount of there was a period of this game where I couldn't remember for the life of me which button was my grenades, which was square, but I just couldn't fucking remember what I was using for grenade. And I kept
No,
testing.
I had the opposite problem where I was hitting square all the time by accident.
It's
Grenades
just-
everywhere.
I just feel like there's a lot of stuff they could have just put a little bit more effort into making it.
No, the thing
nicer
was,
or-
I didn't realize you had to press square again to make it explode.
to make it explode. Yes, and the
I'm
targeting
like throwing these
for
grenades.
it
Why is this going off?
Yes, and you can't like. Yeah, it's very like they haven't spent any time just fixing it or kind of.
See,
doing a bit
that's
of
the one that
polish.
needed a
remake
rather than a
if
remaster.
they yeah, exactly. And you know what? Honestly, Mass Effect 1 isn't even that long. Mass Effect 1 is probably the shortest out of the 3 games and probably doesn't have that much because a lot of the stuff is like, man, a lot of the stuff is when you're in the universe menu is just random planets that aren't even explorable. They're just you quickly jump into it, see if you can survey something and leave. And maybe if you want to read,
Yep.
you can read about it. Yeah, no, I feel like they could have put more effort into Mass Effect 1, but yeah, I want to hear like so you're into Vermeer. How are you enjoying the story so far and the narrative of it? Because once again, another thing that's very problematic for this game coming out now and people playing this now, number of properties have already excelled at the companion format of a game. Of being like, you have these companions and you can interact with them and you can romance somebody and you can like do different things with different characters and stuff like that. Like nowadays you have so many examples of it. You have like Personas, you can go play Persona and it has very similar kind of things. When Mass Effect originally came out, this shit was like groundbreaking and how cool this was to have these interactions with your characters. So
I mean, it's cool. I mean, I'm enjoying the story so far. Some of the characters are very interesting. Obviously, I love Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and this feels very much like that.
yes.
So obviously,
so-
this is a couple of
yes.
steps above that, but yeah.
Yes. No. It's very much the next kind of step beyond. Old
Yeah,
Republic
just
and
they
stuff.
didn't have the license anymore, and they wanted to fire guns more.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's a lot to start off with, like the lore and the trying
Man,
to
it is
get.
it's a big old lore dump at the start of this game where it's like, hey, here's a bunch of alien races, here's what's going on in the world. By the way, there's only been like 30 years that the humans have been dealing with this stuff, so like they talk about stuff being a lot longer than that, but humans have only
Yeah,
been
it's
dealing
like
with it for 30
what?
years.
So that captain dude was like day one, almost going to be a Spectre.
Yes.
That doesn't make sense with him. What we know
Yeah.
of the world and that kind of stuff. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, intrigued by the story. You know, fuck Ciaran. I'm going to take him down. You know,
You know what I'm saying? See, Ciaran, as you get through, Ciaran's a really interesting character because of like, I think later in the mission you're in, you learn a lot more about Ciaran. Now, actually, I have to. How far through that mission are you?
I'm just took down the towers so the Normandy could land.
Okay, all right, that's fine. You're at
That's
the precipice.
and then I've only done the Thorian. That was
Yes.
the only other story mission I did before.
Oh
this.
shit! This is a really interesting. Okay, right.
It said it was an emergency to find out this information, so I'm going.
It does do that. It's very weird. Interesting though. Very interesting. Is
So what you're
all
saying
I
is I'm
will
doing this
say.
out of order. In your opinion.
This is like the second, like in the normal. This leads into the end game. Normally, like if you're playing it
Ah.
like as it's written, this leads into the end game because some very big things happen in that mission. And also, once you're at the point you're at, I don't think you can leave.
Cool.
So
We're just gonna have to go wing it and see how we go.
oh no. Any Mass Effect person who played Mass Effect and knows like there is like one big thing in Mass Effect 1 that every Mass Effect player is like, man, this cannot happen, is probably all screaming right now. So I cannot wait to find out about. Actually, no, part of me is dreading to find out, but yeah, no, I hope it'll be interesting. How have you gone with your leveling of your character? Have you?
Yeah, pretty well. I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Just dump all your points into stuff.
Have you? Did you do the RPG thing of dumping all your points into narrative skills early?
No, I did. Well, no, I put all into charm to start off with.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Okay.
I figured I'd need
That's
at
a
least
smart
one
thing.
of the two.
Yes, no, you do. Anybody who doesn't, it's a feels bad.
No,
It's a feels bad. Just always, everybody listening, if you're new to RPGs or some shit, make sure you pick an active skill and you just max it as soon as possible because
and it's
life's
super
real
easy
hard
because
if
you get like 4 points.
You get
each
4 points.
level,
Yeah, you
it's
get to
like-
max it super quick. I don't even think Charm gets a full bar. I think it's like missing the last like 2 or 3. So it's like max that shit out. Have a good time. Just like completely
Get those
avoid,
discounts.
Get those discounts, or like completely avoid some fights if you're a Paragon and you're just like whoa. Be my
That's
bro.
another thing that's never explained. I don't see any benefit to being good or bad at the moment.
There is it. So Mass Effect 1, there is only, I would say, 2 or 3 moments that it matters how much you've done in either one. Mass Effect 2 and 3 is a lot more, and there's like a lot more benefits and negatives about choices you make in that one. Mass Effect 1, as I said at the start, like Mass Effect 1 is, they have all like the bare bones ideas where they're like, man, we've got all these ideas and they're in this game. Mass Effect 2 is where they kind of fully bring those ideas to fruition and kind of fulfill them in a better way. And like, you know, choices in games wasn't a brand new thing at all. Like, choices in games was not a brand new thing for a lot of people. But like, because, you know, Fable had been probably 3 or 4 years prior to this, and Fable was very much of that same kind of manner of being good or evil. But I think these games start to, and BioWare is definitely the leading component for it, especially with Knights of the Old Republic and everything, of kind of developing that system even further to probably what we have today. So yeah, it's early bones, and I think that is the worrying thing where people are playing this, and I hope people while they're playing it just understand that it's like,
I understand the historical context.
understand the historical context of this game, but also, which is a weird thing to have to ask people to understand when you're releasing something, but also be like, hey, this is the same 2007 game with a new paint job.
Yeah.
Like, people please understand that. Like, it's not like the Final Fantasy VII remake where they've completely changed that game and completely overhauled it and done everything. It's just like, no. They have put makeup on a pig. Like, it is, they have rolled, yeah. Like, it is like that kind of thing. Where it's like there are still the problems you had. There's still a lot of like kind of weird or buggy interactions that I have all the time in this game. That's still very much this is definitely a 2007 game still, but it's a very well written 2007 game that kind of unravels into probably one of my, if not my favorite series of all time. So it's it's well worth playing it. I've heard people try to be like, no, just pick up the Legendary Edition and start at number 2. No. Do yourself a favor.
No.
You can, if you like mainline the story of Mass Effect, I think it's like below 10 hours. I even want to think it's like 6-ish. If you just mainline the story and you don't get kind of caught up in too much of the side stuff, which you can do. The game doesn't punish you and feel like you're underleveled at all for it, I don't believe.
No.
It's just one of the things where it's like, play it so you have the experience, because there are stuff from this game that doesn't appear again until Mass Effect 3. So it's like, it's well worth playing it beforehand.
Also, I will say on that note, apparently the what is it? Something in 3, you needed to play multiplayer section to get the world readiness up.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So the multiplayer thing's been removed. That's not part of
Yes, of course.
that.
Yeah, of course.
So the way you get your readiness up is you play 1 and 2.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that. That's a really
So
smart.
yeah.
That's really smart.
So
That's,
play through 1 to at least make 3 easier, I guess. I
Look,
don't know what any of that
as I
means,
said-
but
as I said sorry, that's the thing. I will adjust some advice I just gave. If you rush through like Mass Effect 1 just to get the story out, when you get to 2 and 3, take your time doing the side stuff, because the side stuff's really important in those games. Like, really, really important in those games. Even some stuff that isn't explained as being important. Really fucking important.
yeah. So I'm very keen to keep going. I will say, other couple minor gripes.
Okay.
Lip sync, not very good.
Sure. I don't think I've really noticed, but that's probably just me.
Yeah, they're kind of off and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Subtitles, they've got the weirdest placement. Sometimes they're at the top, sometimes at the bottom. When you meet the Ciaran's sidekick, whatever her name is.
The
Matriarch? Yeah, the first shot, they moved the subtitles on her head. Because I'm pretty sure they wanted you to have a proper look at the chest.
the boob window.
They didn't want it don't want it blocked.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. And then, I'm seeing all this love for Garrett, or Garrus.
Garrus, no. Garrus slow burn.
internet.
Garrus is slow burn. Garrus has the fucking... No. Garrus, Mass Effect 1, interesting character. Not the best. He's a bit of a, he has, a weird interaction. Not weird interaction, but he just has, I don't know. Not the best. Garrus is, fucking slow burn. Garrus' introduction in... I can't remember. I want to say Mass Effect 2. It might even be 3. Fucking coolest fucking intro in a game ever. It is, man. You... The big thing is that it's just that your relationship with Garrus is so fucking cool. It's the thing that almost man, did I get a warm fuzzy feeling the moment I brought both Garrus and Rex in my party? Because those two are my fucking boys. They are 101 my fucking boys. They just in even though I'm not playing with Garrus at the moment because I'm using Liara, just because I was doing trophies with Liara and Rex. Those are once you'll know, once you play through this game, once you play through all 3, you'll have your homies. You'll have your fucking new characters that you're like, man, you're fucking cool as shit. I talk about Mass Effect, I talk about Persona 5 Royal, how when I finished that game, I felt really fucking sad because I felt like I was leaving friends behind, which is the corniest cringe shit in the world. That I'm I would feel that that where I'm saying goodbye to friends as I'm walking around Tokyo. Mass Effect's the other game where I have that same kind of feeling of the first time you see Garrus in the Citadel Tower, I'm like, oh, it's my boy. He's he's so young. It's just he's so wet around the ears and thinking that he just wants to blow shit up without rules, and boy, I'm gonna teach him some manners, but it's fine. It's and I think I don't know if you've gotten into the swing of there is a Mass Effect 1 swing, and it continues throughout all the Mass Effect things, where it's man, you finish a mission, you go walk around your ship for the next half an hour, and you talk to
everybody.
And when somebody doesn't have anything interesting to say because it has the same kind of basic dialogue options, and you're like, cool, go to the next person. Because that is my favorite part of Mass Effect, is just talking to everybody and getting to know all the characters and getting there's only one of them has a special mission in this game, I believe. Whereas in the later games, they all get special kind of companion missions that you unlock through talking to them, interacting with them. I just think, it's fucking real cool. You know what's even weird? After I finished 3, I kind of want to go play Andromeda. Because I was reading an article where people were like, hey, Andromeda's not as bad as you remember. Go play it sometime. Well, maybe it's time to go back.
It's probably $5 or something now.
I think I've already got it.
Super easy to get in.
Well, if you buy shit digitally, you've already just got it set in there in your digital library,
Yeah, okay.
Because you don't sell it, because,
because you can't.
Shut up. But,
yeah.
Damn you, PlayStation, for having your digital marketplace. I want to sell things on there. We should get sued. It makes no sense, though.
I will say the only other thing I wish it was. I don't know. Just I wish it was a little bit easier to get into the game. Like I don't know if you've gone all the way out, but you have to load into Mass Effect.
I closed it
and
down.
Then open up the game.
I closed it down this morning to fix a bug, and it did. Even though, not gonna lie though, I kind of wish I opened it more because the BioWare thing that plays where it flashes through all the character is so fucking cool. I'm like, man, that shit's awesome. Like, I want to see that more. I've only seen that twice. And the second time, I'd forgotten about it the first time. So it was like I saw it for the first. It's like I saw it for the first time again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it's probably. I was surprised about. I guess we'll talk about this more on Plat this coming week. But like the trophy lists for this game, I was not expecting to have 3 separate trophy lists. I think it's almost got 4 trophy lists.
It's technically got 4. Yeah.
Because it's got a trophy list for each of the games, and then it's got its own overarching trophy list that you can complete.
Which doesn't have a platinum, but
doesn't have a platinum, but it's a bunch of extra trophies. That's like, man, you do this like you romance a character in one of the games, which you're going to do anyway. So it's not like unless you're one of these that wants to be friends with everybody. Like, come on.
I mean, Liara came on super strong. It was on.
Hey, Liara's. You know what, Liara. You know what's right? Small narrative thing, and I don't know how far you've dug into this character, right? But I was like all with Ashley the first time I played this, and I reckon I have just not listened to her dialogue when I was young because I was just like, man, attractive female character, pog you. But like this time I was like, she's the biggest like xenophobic bitch in the world. And I'm like, yeah. What the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck is this character? I'm like, why did I not notice this when I was playing when I was a teenager? What the fuck?
I mean, but I think both the human characters are very.
Caden's fine. Caden's alright. He's
alright, but he's very wary of. The Navigator's super.
Oh, the Navigator, super Presley's like, what about all these aliens you're letting on board? You're like, what the fuck? Fucking humans, you guys are the problem. Just fucking go.
See, I don't want to romance anyone in this game because I don't want to cut my options for the follow.
You don't. But also at the same time, this game, you know how games have grown to make the romance dialogue options really fucking obvious. Because nowadays they'll have like a heart or some kind of symbol on them to be like, hey, this is the one if you want a romance, kid. Mass Effect 1 does not do that. Mass Effect 1, you're just like, sure, you've started down the right path, and it doesn't explain to you if you've done something wrong or anything. It's just like, something happens eventually, and it's like, man, cool, I romanced them. I talked to them enough on my rounds around the ship. Poggers.
Alright. Well, let us know what you've thought of Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Did you jump into one of this 2 or 3 straight away? Like a animal?
Like a crazy animal. I don't think jumping into Mass Effect 2 is as bad as jumping into Mass Effect 3. Jumping into 3 is just insane.
Unless you've never played 3, I guess, would be the only... Which is weird. It's a very weird scenario. You've been in a coma for the last 10 years. You finished 2 and you never got to play 3. I'll let that slide. But yeah, let us know by going to Twitter. You can find all of our Twitter handles by going to explosion.com/Twitter. Or you can jump to our Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you like this episode, thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosion.com/support, and you can give us a little bit of a... Buy us a coffee for as little as $1.
Buy us one of them coffees. Yeah, coffee.
Yep. Or you can go to explosion.com/support us. We've got a bunch of different things you can do over there to help us out. Or you can buy a shirt, Or you can be reminded to leave us a review, either on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. Or, there's another Ko-fi link on that page as well, which is super handy.
Wait, did you just tell them to go to the support page and then explain to them what was on the support page?
Yeah.
You've just done the job.
We just talked about how the tutorials in this weren't very good. I want to explain everything. Alright. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next week. Same time, same couch.